one of the best flights I have ever done. And my breath has been taken away.
One thing I've always wanted to do was to go paracamping. And what this is where you take off of one location, you fly cross country, land in a different place and camp there, and then in the morning you take off and fly home, either returning or continue on to another destination. So this is something I've always wanted to do ever since I initially started paramotoring. It's been a passion of mine, but I've never really quite got all the things together. Either I've had the time in the weekend and an event, or the weather wasn't good. There just seemed to be something that has come up, at least in the last 9 years that I've been trying to go paracamping. So it looks good that today's weather is going to work out relatively well. I'm excited. We're going to take off and see what happens. So with me, I'm going to bring my tent, extra pair of underwear, some water, some sandwiches, extra battery, sleeping bag, and just everything that I need in order to just camp. But I have to be very specific on what I choose because I'm going to be heavy if I bring too much. So I checked the weather again, and it looks like the weather might be a factor today. There's some clouds moving by, maybe some precipitation, but they're small cells and they may be avoidable. But looks like the bases of the clouds are right around 5,000 to 6,000 feet. So I'll look to stay below the clouds or just avoid them. I can always turn back home. But essentially I'm going to head that way. I may head a little bit to the right and then see how this cloud system kind of moves.
Well, the wind just kind of died. I thought it was pretty strong, right around 7-8 knots, but looks like it's around 3. Actually pretty nice. I got just a little bit of lift of wind. Lifted up all 256 of me. The people down there. Alright, so just a little bit of wind from the south-southeast. That's pretty much a tailwind. As far as I can tell here, and you can see there's definitely some clouds around mid-level, anywhere from 5 to 10,000, and definitely a lot more clouds up towards 20,000 feet or so. But you know, I would have preferred just a clear skies for my first one, and this definitely makes it interesting. This definitely makes it a lot of fun. I like it. What's interesting about paramotoring, specifically cross-country paracamping, is the unknowns. Now today there is definitely a lot of unknowns because I've never gone cross-country before, and this is a relatively new paramotor to me. I just recently bought this a month or two ago, and I'm not 100% familiar with the amount of gas that it takes. And you know, with this wing, this is an 18-meter wing, so on the small side, meaning I'm a little bit less efficient than somebody with a larger wing. Now, I would say about 20 miles, I can decide to turn back, and I can land by my car, I can go home, and then call it a night. So obviously, I'm going to take the weather in consideration and my amount of gas that I'm using to fly 20 miles. But after that 20 miles, it's pretty much time to commit. Am I going to turn back, or am I going to commit to landing at an airfield I've never been in and looking for some gas? Now, worst case scenario, I don't make it to the airport, or I make it to the airport and they don't have gas there, or at least they don't have anything available. I'm going to have to walk all the way to town and buy some gas from the local gas station, which is about 2 or 3 miles. So that'll be pretty interesting. It's kind of a mystery. It's kind of a game. How's it going to go? I have no idea. This could be a really good trip, or this could be a dud, and I'm going to have to call somebody to come pick me up from the Cherokee, Oklahoma. Now, near Cherokee is a state park called the Great Salt Lake Plains, and people come from miles around and they dig in the flats, the plains. They dig down into the ground about 2 feet, and what you can find are some salt crystals, and I don't know the scientific name, but the salt crystals are what they're out there for, which is really neat. So we actually went yesterday to check out the Great Salt Lake Plains, and we got there, we found a shovel, we started digging, and it's interesting how that salt crystal forms underground over a period of years. I don't know if God created it underground to be that way, or if it's formed since the earth was created. Well, something spiritual I wanted to share with you guys is recently our preacher at our congregation, his name is Eric, he's been talking about a series of lessons where he's preaching about managing resources in a godly manner. He talked about using money wisely, he talked about using your talents wisely, and this Sunday I thought it was a pretty interesting topic. He talked about our time and how important our time is and how we should use it wisely. He talks about how we all have the same amount of time. It doesn't matter how rich you are, it doesn't matter what family line you came from, what your nationality is, what your skin color is, and how we use that time is up to us. Chapter 5, verse 15 says, "Be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity, because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be foolish, but understand what the Lord's will is." The main part of that verse is to make the most out of every opportunity. And I know in my life that I've had times where I've just let time just go by, and I've wasted time. I've wasted opportunities that I could have used my time wisely or productive. I know when I was a kid, my mom would always say, when I was bored, she's like, "Why don't you find something productive to do?" And of course, that's not what I wanted to hear. I wanted somebody to play a game with me or something, but you know, such wise words, find something productive to do. When we're gone from this life, what's going to be left behind? Is it going to be the amount of work we put into other people's lives and into so many things that we can take advantage of each and every day? Or is what's going to be left just time that we've wasted? So during the sermon, Eric talked about 2 things that are important for us to understand about time. The first thing is to be productive. We need to use our talents for God. Genesis 2 talks about how we need to work for God. Ephesians chapter 2 verse 10 tells us to do good works. It doesn't matter what your talent is. It could be sewing, it could be singing, it could be driving, it could be sports. Whatever your talent is, it's important to recognize that your talent needs to be used for God and to do it. I know I have talents in my life. I know I have things that I've done, that I've practiced at and I've worked on, and yet there's some days that go by I just don't feel like doing anything productive. And I find myself just really struggling to be motivated to do what I know is right. And it's those days I need to stay in the Word and really focus on what's really important. The thing about using our time wisely is we don't know when our time is up. Our time could be up today. Your last day could be today. And when you think about that, that is so sobering. Because all the things that we think are important in this life immediately become unimportant when we pass away. Have you ever had a time where you were scared for your life, or that you, for at least a couple seconds, you thought you were gonna die? I remember when I was driving in the car one day, a cousin of mine thought it'd be funny to yell really loud and hammer the brakes and really, make it seem like we're about to crash, and he decided to do that while I was sleeping. Of course, when he did it, I woke up, and for a split second, I thought I was going to die. And everything in my life just didn't seem as important. And that is incredible how perspective changes in a moment. Now, I know we have plans for our future. We've got things that we want to do tomorrow or next week or next month or next year. But when we really take a step back, how should we be using our time? And God tells us to use it wisely. What's important to understand about talents is that if you don't use your talents, you lose it. So not only be productive in your time, but use your talents so that you can remain sharp and let those talents waste away. The second point he talks about is to rest. Now, it's funny how the Bible tells us that we need to be productive, use our time wisely, but it's also talking about how important it is to rest. Now, we know that God rested on the seventh day. 6 days God created the world, and on the seventh day he rested. Now that's powerful, to understand that God can make this world, and yet he decided to rest. He commands his people in the Jewish law to be productive, but specifically on day 7, the Sabbath day, do not work. We are to rest. Even as Christians, we're not under the Jewish law, but there's definitely something about resting. Now, there's different ways to rest. You can rest by taking a nap or sleeping. In fact, when you sleep, you need to be purposeful with your sleep. Because if you're not, you can get less sleep and then be agitated, aggravated, and annoyed if you don't get enough sleep. So yes, rest, but be purposeful and productive with your rest. But other ways that we can rest are doing things that we enjoy. Whether it's going for a run or other types of exercise, or whether it's getting involved with your kids, playing a board game, or playing some sports, or reading a book, or just going for a walk, or actually just going outside and sit and listen to nature. I think that's a good way to rest and kind of recharge your batteries. And I know everybody doesn't recharge their batteries that way. Some people enjoy being around other people and have a good get-together or a game night, and that can be rejuvenating and help charge their batteries. So that's important too. But I think we just need to remember how important it is to take a break and relax. I know our society here in America specifically are just so busy all the time. And it reminds me how we've lost the character quality of being available. It's so important to be available in order to help people that need to be helped. And if we're so busy in our lives taking activities or work that kind of get in the way to us really kind of gelling with people in our lives, that could affect how we impact people. So just something on my mind I thought was really important to understand. We need to be productive with our time. We need to rest, and we need to be purposeful with our rest. And we need to realize how important it is to use our time wisely, because we do not know when our day will come. I just got hit by a bug. Might need a full face mask next time. Alright, so you can see that we've made it to the Great Salt Lake Plains Reservoir. And what I plan on doing is just kind of skirting around it to the west here, and then I'll go up to Cherokee. That's where I'm headed, where the airport is. So it looks like the weather is still kind of a factor, so I'm still going to keep a close watch on it. Look at this. This is amazing. This is what it's all about. You got the sun coming out from the clouds. It's reflecting off of the lake. You've got the Kegelman, which is an Air Force auxiliary airfield. They fly T-6s and they do touch and goes out of there. It's closed today, but what a sight. Multiple things all coming together in one flight. Alright, so it looks like I've used about 6 liters so far. So I've got 4, maybe 4.5 liters. And I'm definitely past the 20 miles or the halfway there. I am now committed to paracamping. It's just the unknown that just makes it so exciting. Of course, the digging area that you can see way out there is where you can dig for the salt crystals, where I went yesterday. And then, of course, we've got Bird Island, which is right smack in the middle of the lake there. This lake is 50% salt and 50% clear water. So it's actually relatively buoyant, which is a good thing. Of course, if I would have an engine out right now, I could easily glide back to shore, or I could try to start my engine. Wow, what a great day to fly. You know, I was a little worried about the weather, but I'm pretty sure I can see the town where I'm going. And the airfield's probably just another 10 miles that way. I think I'll be able to make it just fine. I've got about 3 liters left. I've been flying for about 45 minutes. So I know I can definitely make it close enough where, worst case scenario, I have to land a little bit short of the field. I can definitely run and get gas and take off again. So, what I'd like to do is see if I can make it up to these clouds up here. So these clouds are relatively puffy, and I think if I could just fly near and around them, I'd be fine. And it's going to cost me a little bit of gas, but what's nice is that I can actually probably glide a really good distance from here, and I think I can see the airfield. So I'm going to see if I can use the rest of my gas and see how high I can get. A little chilly. It's funny how I'm shivering right now. It's so cold, but as soon as I get to the ground and I land, it's just going to be probably just sticky hot. So I better enjoy this cool weather while I have it. Alright, so there's the runway. It's runway 17 and 35. I'm actually also running low on fuel. I only have about 2 liters. I think I got another 3,000 feet to go. I don't know if I can make it. It's like I'm about eye level with the base of that cloud. And I know this cloud isn't too far off, so probably about 1,000 feet below it. It's definitely getting really chilly up here. I'm probably closer to about, I'd say about 8,000 to 10,000 feet up here. Wow, I made it. Nice to meet you, Mr. Giant Cloud. You are magnificent. I am in absolute awe right now. I am above the base, I am below the top of it, and this cloud is towering above me. This is something that if you did not see it, you did not know could happen. There is absolutely nothing below me right now other than my feet. Flying around the cloud, 10,000 feet in the sky. hanging from strings off of fabric. I'm definitely low fuel, but I just can't get enough of this cloud. Well, we'll call that a day. This is one of the best flights I have ever done. And my breath has been taken away. Alright, so I've been flying about an hour now. Got my landing zone down there. I know I have gas in the town here, so I'm not worried about that. I just don't know if I'm going to have to walk all the way down to get the gas, or if they're actually going to have a gas pump there. I might just have to go paracamping every single week. This is amazing. Bye, cloud. And Cherokee Airport, this is ParaPreacher, looking for clearance to land on runway 35 for a full stop. If you do not mind, I'd love to stay overnight at your awesome little airfield here. There's no traffic to be seen anywhere. I've got 5,000 feet to lose, and I'm just gonna spiral. Just get some G's coming down here. There's 2 G's. 3 G's. Yes. That's just about 3 G's. Whoa, they ain't getting dizzy yet. Hey, there's the sunset.
Man, the video cut out because I was out of battery on my GoPro. You missed the landing. Oh man, I came right up runway 35. Icing on the cake is after I landed on the runway, I walked off into the grass and there was this car pulling up, and they were like, man, this is so cool. Like, tell us all about it. How do you start it? How do you get into the air? How do you launch? Because they just saw me land. And they were just so over the top excited. Come to find out, they're both pilots that fly out of this airport, and the husband is the president of the board that owns the airfield. So it's a public airfield, and the wife actually works at City Hall, and she's like, can I take your picture? I want to put you in the paper. And I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. And they helped me get gas, and they said, we're gonna unlock our brake area for you. So there's my paramotor and paraglider there. They helped me get some gas. And he said he was gonna come in the morning and take me to go get breakfast. So just a great couple that said that they just saw me flying when they were outside on their porch, and they thought that they would come follow me, which is interesting how they saw me, because I was in idle almost the whole time. They said they didn't even hear me. I just made 2 new friends. So how about that? I'm gonna have to come here more often. Cherokee, Oklahoma at the airfield is absolutely amazing. I'm so happy to have just a really good flight, but also give glory and honor to God for keeping me safe and giving me a place to stay that I didn't even expect. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I'm going to charge the GoPro and make part 2 video of my flight back home, so you guys can watch that. Hopefully I make it home without any problems.